A very good afternoon to all of you. And today, I don't think so. We need another interaction of Professor Sachi. She's continuously in counseling session here, and she's taking key role in promoting this program and involving a different capacity, particularly in the sustainable science. With this, I would like to invite Madam to start the session. Please, ma'am.
Shall I start? Or Jyotsna ma'am is starting?
No, Madam, you have to start.
Okay, okay. So good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank and congratulate Dr. Kuman for giving me this opportunity and conducting the program so well. I would also like to thank all the participants who are here and Dr. Jyotsna Dikshit for making the PPT very attractive. So the topic of today's presentation is global environmental issues and achieving sustainable development goals. So we all know that we are today is confronted with the emerging environmental issues. The environmental is continuously deteriorating. The earth system now has entered into a new era which has been affected by human activity, and it is totally different from the era which is 10,000 years before. So if we see that the era which was 10,000 years before in geology, it is known as Holocene, but now we are entering in an era which is known as Anthropocene, and it is basically the era which is governed by human activity, which is affected by human activity. I can say it is a chemical intensive era wherein every sphere, whether it is in resource consumption and production, whether it is in atmospheric issues, whether it is construction, institutional, any aspect, we are using much more use of chemicals. We are not decoupling the environment with the economy. The population is continuously increasing. The increasing population needs, or they are having the demand for food, feed, fiber. The people for livelihood moving toward urban area. Urbanization has increased. Like for increased urbanization, we need again for their spacing, for their livelihood, for their food, and so on and so forth. So all these environmental issues are intertwined. These are interrelated. One issue is leading to the other issue. For example, if I say we compartmentalize environment into atmosphere, water, land, soil, and other compartment or other cross-cutting issue, we'll see that atmosphere is continuously deteriorating. This is because of urbanization, also because of human activity, for example, vehicular pollution, industrial pollution, and various type of power plant, agriculture field, crop burning, use of fossil fuels. We are using non-conventional fossil fuels. So all these things are polluting the environment, polluting the atmosphere. This greenhouse gas emission is further leading to the climate change. The climate change again, it is affecting the earth in a various aspect. For example, it is melting of ice, melting of various type of permafrost. Again, there are so many of disaster related events, erratic rainfall, precipitation, etc. And then our activities, our technological innovation, our technological advancement has also leading to the pollution or affecting our water bodies, whether it is in the ocean, whether it is a fresh water ocean. Because first I'll say about ocean, because when we are saying ocean, ocean is affected by climate change also, ocean acidification. And then microplastic is one of the main pollutant of ocean. We are using tons of plastic which is going to the environment or ocean, and ocean, because of this microplastic, several oceanic animals are getting affected. It is affecting the food chain, various type of agriculture activity which we need to we are doing for feeding the ever-growing population, all the agriculture pollution, whether it is a form of pesticide, whether it is form of fertilizer or any other aspects, whatever we are using, that is going down to river and again or sea, and again it is causing several type of pollution, whether it is nitrogen pollution, phosphorus pollution, like so on and so forth. There are so many aspects which we need to cover. In this session, I'll be covering what I assume according to the United Nations Environmental Program, what are the major global environmental issues. There are many issues which are cross-cutting issues. Like, for example, we can say gender, livelihood, equity, and education, sanitation, etc., poverty, all these things, hunger, all these things are cross-cutting issues, because when we are talking about the Sustainable Development Goal 2, that is zero hunger, then we are talking about agriculture production. Agriculture production, again, we when I say agriculture production, 70% of the water is used for agriculture production. So out of this 70% of water that is used for agriculture, and this is used to feed the billions of people. We know when we talk about the population, in 2019 the population is around 7.8 or so billion. It is expected in 2013 it will reach to 10 billion, 2015 11 billion. So people, the population is continuously increasing. To feed this ever increasing population, to feed this population, we need to have a food security. We need to produce the large amount of food to fulfill, to remove the hunger, and for this there is expansion of agricultural land. When we are talking about expansion of agricultural land, then it comes the loss of biodiversity. Biodiversity is continuously eroding. What is biodiversity? Biodiversity is diversity of various type of life form. The diversity of life form is eroding. It is being, there are in the verge of extinction. It is on the tipping point, and the services which are provided by biodiversity, like example, fresh air, fresh water, soil, soil improvement, or so many are there. If we describe, I'll be describing only later. They all are getting affected. So what I wanted to say is that the first thing what I wanted to say is that human actions are the major, one of the major or most important driver of environmental change. The second thing is that we, because of our human action, we are increasingly changing the boundaries of our planetary system. We are major force in this operating system, which are deteriorating the earth ecosystem. This is fundamental. If you see, this is unprecedented, and there are unpredictable change in the earth situation. This need a fundamental shift in perspective, and we need a new paradigm to guide the action. We know that there are 17 sustainable development goals. Most of the goals are directly or indirectly related to environment. There are, in these sustainable development goals, there are 93 indicators which are directly linked to environment. If we talk about 17 sustainable development goal, for example, what I'll say that goal 13, climate action, goal 14, life below water, goal 15, life on land, and there are clean water and sanitation. All these things are, all these sustainable development goals are directly linked. Besides that, if we say no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, all these indicators or all these sustainable development goals are related to environmental or various type of environmental issues. So we will be discussing all these issues and all in a very brief manner, because there are so many issues. There are issues which are intertwined, one related to other. So we will be discussing all these issues, which I can cover in a short span of time in the next few slides. So first, I wanted to say that what is the relationship between planetary health and human health? Here I would like to, I have given a slide which is, or a graph which is from Global Environmental Outlook 2019. It is a report GER6, and this basically say, the title of this report is Healthy Planet for Healthy People. So in this graph, the GER has tried to show that there are different sociological systems and they how human action affect the planet. The human actions, the effect may be from good health to irreversible, and the people impact on the impact of human action on environment may be from low to very high. If we see different type of activities, if you say how atmosphere, we all know that atmosphere is getting polluted. The basic reason for still we for the pollution of atmosphere is use of fossil fuel. Still, in many countries, when we are talking about globally, we will be covering all the developing countries as well as developed countries and underdeveloped countries. In most of the underdeveloped countries, they are still using fossil fuel, coal, kerosene, and biomass burning, which is leading to the atmospheric pollution. Besides that, if you see anthropogenic, if you see that the forest fire, recently we have seen the fire in Australia, Amazon fire, so many incidents of forest fire is occurring, that is also affecting the atmosphere. And when we talk about the developing countries or developed countries, the major reason, if we see that pollution of atmosphere, beside these activities, is the urbanization, use various type of vehicular pollution, which is relating, and other activities which are releasing to affecting environment by releasing of greenhouse gas. So this urban air pollution and the air pollution is the highest cause of death, sickness, and displacement globally. Then, when we talk about land, we talk about soil, we talk about agricultural activity, we talk about forest activity, and various other type of activity which is affecting the land. So it affects the livelihood of the people, it affect the biodiversity, it affect the access to the land, and once the desertification occurs or deforestation occurs, that is also the people who are dependent on these forests, they lost their job. Then water we know that different type of chemicals are being released into the water. These the one of the, we know all type of water pollution we have read till now: nitrogen source, phosphorus source, industries, agriculture activities, mining activities, so and so forth, which is not only affecting our surface water but also affecting our groundwater. But the now the one of the major incident or one of the major major water pollutant is that that antibiotic resistance. Nowadays, we are using so many antibiotics in our daily life, so that is released into the water, and that affects millions of people because of this antibiotic resistance. Because of these antibiotics, which are used in a large scale, several of people have their health has been severely affected. Water, there are incidents when there, because of water pollution, because of this wash activities, you might have heard about water sanitation and hygiene. There are millions of people who are not having access to the water. They are going for the fetching of water. Like when I was talking about the cross cutting issue, here comes the cross cutting issue: gender. Because in many countries, the girls or the female are going to take the water for far off distances. If this water is provided to the people, or water is easily available, then so much of time is being saved. This time, these ladies, these girls can be used for various other fruitful activity. So these all are affecting people's health, people's livelihood, and they are affecting the entire ecosystem. Then ocean, there are several factors beside pollution, beside plastic waste, the coral bleaching, polar melting. All these are affecting the oceans. The if you see that harvesting of fisheries or other thing, this is unsustainable fisheries that has affected the oceanic ecosystem. Beside that, microplastic has also affected, increase in temperature or climate change that has led to the coral bleaching. We know that the corals are one of the most productive ecosystem. So these has affected the coral bleaching, and it has ultimately affecting the life of the people or livelihood of the people and health, because everything in this report, the connection is with the health. That is why I'm talking about mostly about health. Then biodiversity is severely affected by all type of activity, over extraction, over population, pollution, climate change, land degradation, unsustainable harvesting. All these things has affected the biodiversity. There is erosion of genetic biodiversity, erosion of ecosystem biodiversity, species biodiversity, loss of ecosystem services, and so on and so forth. And it has affected the food security and zoonosis. Zoonosis is very important when we talk about the present scenario. We know about the pandemic which we all are facing. We know the source of this, and the reason is also that we are not respecting the biodiversity and we are not practicing the law of nature. So all these effects, if you see, they are having irreversible. Most of the effects are irreversible. They take much longer time to get back into the normal situation. And if you see, the effect on the healthy people is also very high worldwide. The dotted line shows that in different regions they may vary different according to the region. Developed country or some places where water is more or air pollution is less, the effect may be more or less different, but that is the effect is more beyond the reversible limit in most of the cases. Now, this second graph shows the Global Living Planet Index. The Global Living Planet Index is actually, it shows the biodiversity loss. The biodiversity is very important for our survival. It provides of all kind of services, whether it is essential services or I can say when we talk about ecosystem services, there are four types of services. Uh, all services are provided by this biodiversity. So Global Living Planet Index is an index which shows how the biodiversity, especially the biodiversity of vertebrate, is declining. The main center line is the this index value, and upper and lower line is at the rate of 95% of confidence. If you see from 1970 to 2014, the total number of vertebrate, if we take, it is 1970, and they are continuously decreasing. If we say the index is zero point 0.5, it means 50% of biodiversity has been degraded or become lost. Now, what is happening in our environment and how we responded? As I told, that primary driver of environment change is human population dynamics, particularly population pressure and economic development. The population, as we know, is presently at 7.8 billion or so. It is continuously increasing. This increasing population is putting pressure on the environment. They need, for their survival, we need to provide them different kind of essential services, from food, feed, fiber, housing, livelihood, and job. When we say livelihood, it's job. Beside that, this increasing population require large amount of space, large living space. They are, for their job, they are moving towards the urban cities or various cities. So this urbanization together with the technological innovation, that is also affecting our environment. When I say technological innovation, I will just give an example of, there are different type of technology which are developing, and it is also affecting our environment. The various type of technology, for example, a very simple example I'll give about the waste. We are in an era where we are producing a large amount of waste. Different type of waste is generated. When we say technology nowadays, because of this online classes, most of the people, the by default or by choice or not, they have to work online. For that, they are getting so many electronic gadgets. This e-waste is being generated, and this e-waste is very difficult for environment to manage. It is not only hazardous because of various type of metals which are present into this. This is also recently, you might have heard in the you might have read in the newspaper, in Delhi there is an incident of burning of e-waste. So this e-waste burning, because of this metal, they are heavy metals, they produce toxic gases, and it affects our environment, it affects our health, it affects our air, which ultimately leads to the human health and affecting the well-being of the humans. Then these, as I said, that these all activities, technological innovation, there are so many. Like we are talking about the power plant. Initially, we are when we talk about the electricity generation, the electricity is generated to thermal power plant, and these thermal power plant, they are providing us electricity, but together they are releasing different type of greenhouse gases. Same way, vehicular pollution. When we say there are different type of vehicles, earlier when there were very less vehicle, the environment was pure, the atmospheric pollution were less. But now, because of different type of vehicles, our number of vehicles has increased so much because of rapid urbanization and increasing population, that it has affected the climate. So climate is a priority issue which affects the human system, human health, and natural system. So there are basically all are interrelated when we say about the global environmental issues. If I think that according to me, and on the basis of United Nations Environmental Program, I have listed few of the uh, global environmental issue according to me. The first one is climate change, mitigation and adaptation. We know that climate change is a priority issue. We know that this climate change is affecting us in all sphere of life. It is affecting human system, it is affecting human health, it is affecting natural system. There are, if you say that it is not only affecting each and every component. If we say, it is affecting our air, it is affecting our biodiversity, it is affecting our ocean, it is affecting our fresh water, it is affecting land. Almost all the ecosystem are affected by climate change. And the effect of climate change is, if you see the greenhouse gas emission, the that is continuously increasing. We are unable to meet the Paris climate agreement. When the temperature has to reduce to 2 degrees centigrade, and it has been clearly indicated with the, if you see that melting of glacier, permafrost, carbon change in carbon cycle, biogeochemical cycle, erratic, different type of disaster related incident, and so on and so forth. Climate change is visible, we all know. So we need to have this strategy to mitigate the climate and to adapt ourselves with this changing climate. Then the second which I consider is pollution problem and their effect on health. There are air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, noise pollution. If we say the different kind of pollution is occurring. The water pollution, I'll start with water pollution. As we know that it is affecting the health of everyone. The most vulnerable when we talk about the water pollution is that small children's and ladies. The children's, if you say that water related death, if you see there are millions of deaths which are related to water, drinking water problem, because of this water which is contaminated. So many waterborne diseases are occurring because of this water pollution problem. This water, we all know that it is affecting the source of water pollution. We know there are different type of sewage is coming. There is no treatment of water. The water, there are a number of missions we know that are going on by government, but still the water is not purified. The water is not clear, and the household water problem is drinking water problem is affecting everybody's health. Then air pollution, we all know that because of this air pollution increase, especially suspended particulate matter, we know that it is affecting our respiratory system. It is affecting the people are getting different type of problem, whether it is asthma or lungs related problem, breathing problem, and so many other problems because of this air pollution. Now, there are many problems. When we talk about soil pollution, the soil, we know that we are excessive use of fertilizer or excessive use of pesticide or excessive use of agrochemicals. These all are affecting the soil, and these are also affecting the water, because this excess amount of chemicals, they are being drained into, they're being transported, or they be with the rainfall, they go to the water body where they cause severe type of health problem to each and everyone. So all type of pollution problem. When we are saying, when we talk about pollution, I'll also say waste, because waste is also a kind of pollution. Different type of waste are being generated, whether it is agriculture waste, whether it is solid municipal solid waste, whether it is hazardous waste, whether it is toxic waste, e-waste, or any other type of waste. Nowadays, we are facing the problem because of this pandemic. We are facing a different kind of waste problem again because of this pandemic. The we all are so much conscious. We need to be. We are so much conscious about health that we all are wearing the mask. But the disposal of this mask, people are not much concerned about how this is being disposed. Because of this pandemic, the use of plastic has been increased. So we are using sanitizers, which is again sanitizers bottles, then packaging material, e-commerce. We are avoiding going out because of this pandemic. We are mostly dependent on e-commerce. All these product comes from e-commerce in wrapped in plastic. So plastic waste is increased. Again, there are in hospital. This all I was talking about a normal type of waste. But if you see biomedical waste, different type of waste which is produced by the hospitals, that though that has been taken care, that need to be taken care by the hospital, but still the people who are not aware the problem of these waste, if it is not properly managed, it will affect the health of the each and everyone. Then the third thing is, I think, the ocean. Ocean, we know that they are we know about the ocean acidification. We know that because of global warming, oceans are getting affected. We know about microplastic. Oceans, we know they are very much productive system. They are very rich source of biodiversity. They are storehouse of carbon dioxide also. They are sink of carbon dioxide also. So there are so many anthropogenic activities which are affecting the oceans, and ocean need to be protected. The energy, the next is what I'll say, that energy transition and renewable. Our life depends upon energy. We need energy, whether it is a renewable or non-renewable source of energy. Earlier time, and in many countries also, we were using the non-renewable source of energy, whether it is fossil, different type of fossil fuel, coal, oil, natural gases, burning of crop residue, kerosene. These all are producing various type of pollutions. We know that now we are shifting from renewable, non-renewable to renewable. We are shifting to solar panels. We are shifting to photovoltaic cells. Beside that, we are shifting towards the bioenergy. We are shifting towards biofuel, hydrogen fuel, electric-driven cars. So many. These are the technological advances when I talk about. So these are providing us the sustainable energy, but at what cost? But at what is the cost? Cost is our environment. Still, we are unable to think about the energy system which is sustainable and which will not affect our environment. Then a sustainable food model. What I mean by sustainable food model is that for increasing, we need to feed the billions of the people. We need food security. For that, we are growing crop, but our model of crop growth is not sustainable. Besides that, if you see the amount of food that is wasted by the developed country is also huge. There are people who are suffering from hunger. There are poor people who are not getting their proper meal, but there are certain people where the food is wasted. The problem of food, when we talk about, there is both type of problem: undernourishment and overnourishment. So we need a sustainable food model, a model where the food is being produced or food is being provided to each and everyone in a way that it should not harm our environment also. Because when we talk about food security, there is expansion of agricultural land. These agricultural land again we are using for we are it is affecting our biodiversity, it is affecting our environment, the kind of greenhouse gases which is being released, that is also affecting environment. And when we talk about agriculture system, it's not only agriculture, it's about livestock also, and it is about aquaculture also, it is about fisheries also. So all there are not sustainable agriculture, there is a not sustainable fishery, there is livestock is not properly managed. So we need a sustainable food model, and in my opinion, it is also one of the global environmental issue. Then biodiversity, diversity of variety and variability of organism. We have read about this: genetic diversity, ecosystem diversity, species diversity. It needs to be protected because it provides us supporting service, provisional service, cultural services, and all other type of spiritual services and other which is necessary for human health and human well-being. The next environmental issue, I will say that overexploitation of natural resources and ecosystem. There are different type of ecosystem, whether we are exploiting this natural resources in a manner that is totally irreversible. Whether till now we have talked about the water harvesting, till now we have talked about the agriculture also a resource, biotic resources. But now I'm talking about the different type of minerals. If we talk about different, let it be iron, aluminium, lithium, mercury, whatever. There are different type of metals are there. We are extracting them in a manner, in a way that is very disastrous for environment. Any natural resource, we are, whether it is energy resource, whether it is mineral resource, whether it is water resource or any other resource, it is exploited in a very unsustainable manner. So over exploitation of natural resource and ecosystem is also one of the major global environmental issues. Then urban development and mobility. We know that because of this urbanization, we people are moving, the urban migration, there is so much of migration. The factors behind this migration may be numerous, maybe a better lifestyle, maybe economic development, or it may be a climate related migration also. Because recently we have seen the migration, that is reverse migration from urban to rural because of this pandemic also. But mostly this urban mobility, urbanization has also one of the global environmental issues, because we are not having sustainable cities. We are not having the cities which are well planned, where there are proper disposal of waste, where there is proper disposal of water, where each and everybody is having the green space, proper water, proper sanitation, and other livelihood activities. So we need a sustainable urban development. Then water scarcity, we know that because of increasing climate change, coupled with various type of over exploitation of resources, the water scarcity is one of the factor which is very important environmental issue. Whether we know about different type of water, whether it is grey water, whether it is blue water, green water, or different kind of types of water, whether it is treated water or untreated water. There are different type of effect or which is affecting our environment. Then extreme meteorological phenomena, we can say it with climate change, whether it is extreme, like there are cyclones, tsunami, there are different type of excess rain or excess dry, flood. without evidence, with evidence, we can say that past 10 years have been, there are extreme meteorological phenomena, and the main reason is various type of anthropogenic activity. And then overpopulation and waste management. Different type of waste, as I told, solid waste, municipal solid waste, the toxic waste, hazardous waste, e-waste, agriculture waste, or waste in any form because of overpopulation. These are the one of the major thing which is affecting our environment. So these are the issues according to me, and the all the issues, if we say, all the environmental issues are intertwined, they are complex, they are interrelated, one leads to other. These all are need to be taken care with the policy, proper policy, sustainable policy, governments, infrastructure, or there are different type of activity. For example, there is sustainable land management, sustainable water management, sustainable food ecosystem management. There are different type of governments which has been formed to take care of all these issues, but still we need to have a more sustainable system so that all these environmental issues can be can be come or can be controlled in a way that these are not affecting human health, planetary health, and health of entire ecosystem. In the next few slides, I just wanted to, with the evidence, I wanted to show you that how these all environmental issues which we have discussed till now has affected our environment. In this graph, I have just tried to, in this graph, this has been shown that how that coral bleaching event has been affected by heat stress. That you can see that there are different type of heat stress table which has been shown by no stress, watch, warning, alert level 1 and alert level 2, and you can see that most of the areas where coral are there, they are at very high alert level. We know that coral are most productive oceanic ecosystem, and when there is loss of this coral reefs or there is coral bleaching because of high temperature or because of other human activity, that will affect the entire ecosystem of ocean. When we were talking about the food production, if you see that the area which is total earth area or total surface of the earth, 71% is ocean, that is around 361 million kilometers square, and the land is 29%, that is 149 million kilometers square. On this land area, if you see, 71% is habitable land, that is 104 million kilometers square, 10% is glaciers, and 19% is barren land. In this 71% of habitable land, 50% agriculture activity is being taken place. And 37% is forest, and 11% or less than that is shrub. Agriculture activity include the livestock, for livestock also, grazing area also, and for the crop production also. And this agriculture land, 77% livestock are found, and very few area we required for 23% for crop and for grazing. So if you see that the location of for the food production, the area is very less, but the area cannot be expanded. There is that need to be not to be extended, but the population is increasing. So ultimately, we are having limited area, but the needs, the demands is increasing. So we need to have this proper sustainable food production system. We were talking about water scarcity. The data according to the UNICEF and WHO is that 1.5 billion people gained access to basic drinking water service from 2000 to 2015. But women still spend 16 million hours per day collecting water, especially in sub-Saharan countries. So they spend most of the time of their life or for their day in collecting the water, even including the children. If we talk about the state of the environment, whether it is air pollution, whether it is biodiversity loss or ocean and coast, we see that the main environmental contributor to the global burden of disease is because of this air pollution. That is increasing, that is because of air pollution, 6 million to 7 million people are having the premature death. If we talk about the biodiversity, this all data which has been I am presenting over here is basically from Global Environmental Outlook 2006, which is the latest report. It has been published in from 1992, I think. And there are, since then, so many issues have been changed. Earlier, when we talk about, mostly we talk about photochemical smoke, we talk about the ozone layer depletion, we talk about global warming, etc. But these issues are somehow being tackled in a way or other in a local level, but still the issues which are prevailing at global level, talking about the biodiversity loss, the population of the species are declining. If you see the species extinction rate, it is increasing. At present, 47%, 42% of the terrestrial invertebrates are, the extinction rate is 42%, 34% for freshwater invertebrate, and 25% of marine invertebrate. They are considered at the risk of extinction. Talking about the ocean and coast, we know that principal driver of change facing ocean and coast are ocean warming, acidification, ocean pollution, increasing use of ocean, coast, deltas, and basin for the food production, transportation, settlement, recreation, extraction, and other type of production. The land and soil food production is the largest anthropogenic use of land, and we are using 50% of the habitable land for this. Population growth, urbanization, water pollution, unsustainable development, all are increasing. They are putting pressure on the water resources so that that is further exacerbated by climate change. In most of the region, slow onset disasters such as water scarcity, drought, famine, and that is leading to the migration as we have discussed earlier. Talking about the water quality, it has worsened significantly since 1992. The reason being is various type of organic chemical pollution, various type of pesticides, fertilizer, pathogens, nutrients, sediments, heavy metal, plastics, microplastic, waste, persistent organic pollutant, and salinity. And I will add antibiotics also. When we talk about different type of resources, the resources and material consumption rates and linear activity, whether it is extraction, whether it is use or dispose, have been increased continuously because that is beyond the recovery level, and that has affected our ecological system. We are having very harmful effects from local level to global level. When we are talking about the state of environment, there is United Nations environmental there is one report that with the sync of Global Environmental Outlook 2006, it has tried to relate the various environmental indicators and how much progress has been made on various environmental related sustainable development goals. If you see that according to this United Nations report, the good progress, they have shown that good progress, medium progress, no progress. What are the various type of SDG indicator where we can find it out? So if we see, according to this United Nations report, good progress on 23% of environmental related SDG indicators has been found. There are 93 environmental related SDG indicator. Out of this, 23% is showing the good progress. 68% inefficient data to assess progress for 68% of SDG indicator, and there is limited likelihood that the target will be met without increased action for 9% of SDG indicator. If we talk about the Here, I just wanted to give you that what are the indicators or SDG indicator where they have shown the good progress. So the SDG 12, if you see, the 30% of the environmental related SDG indicators still like an agreed methodology. There is no methodology by which we can improve the environmental related indicator. And SDG 12, if you see that it is responsible consumption and production, is characterized by the least data availability and funding, and the lowest priority in the country, voluntary national reviews and SDG prioritization processes. This table, if you see, this table in this table I have tried to show you that targets which are directly related to environment. If you see with different sustainable development goals we are having, there are many indicators, many targets which are related to environment. For example, resilience to climate and environmental shocks and disaster, 1.5. 2.4, sustainable food production system. 2.5, genetic diversity. 3.3, death and illness from pollutions. 3.9, waterborne diseases. 4.7, education for sustainable development. Women's equal right to economic resource, property and natural resources. These are cross-cutting issues. Access safe water. Then sanitation, water quality, use efficiency, scarcity, integrated water management, ecosystem, capacity building, local precipitation. All these are, if you see, these are the targets related to environment. The targets which has been shown in gray, that is the area where very less effect or very less improvement has been observed. The good progress, if we, according to the United Nations Environmental Report, which is published by after this GER6, that good progress have been shown in water and sanitation, SDG target. There are a number of targets, but especially SDG target 6A, financial assistance to least developed country, marine and terrestrial protected area, renewable energy, sustainability reporting and mainstreaming in policy and development, assistance for climate change and the environment. Then mixed progress is being observed in improving access to environmental resources and reducing the impacts of environmental degradation on human health and food, as well as on reducing the impact of environmental degradation, climate change and disaster on people. That is SDG target 1.5, 11.5 and 13.1. No data exists or no progress that has been found in, this is regarding all the SDG target related to the state of environment, such as biodiversity, ecosystem health, and the concentration of pollution and waste in the environment. Some indicator even showed a negative trend, particularly those related to forest area, SDG 15.1, sustainable fisheries and endangered species. Negative trend has been observed as far as SDG indicators are concerned, that is in land degradation and land use, coastal eutrophication, marine litter and ocean acidification, SDG target 14.1 and 14.3, water quality and water stress, that is SDG 6.3 and 6.4, and mountains, that is SDG target 15.4. Again, negative trend, if you see, it has been found in the SDG target 8.4 and 12.2, that is material footprint and domestic material consumption, and varying degree of progress on indicators on reducing carbon emission, SDG target 19.4. So, main negative trend has been found in SCP related to indicators because of SCP related indicators because of lack of sufficient data, whether it is water efficiency, whether it is management and generation of waste and hazardous waste, food waste, corporate social responsibility, etc. In this slide, I have given few national and international organizations which are facing challenging environmental issue. These are international, if you know, United Nations Green Growth Institute, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, International Union for Conservation of Nature, European Environmental Agency, Partnership in Environmental Management for the Seas of East Asia, and Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, which is in America. In non-governmental organizations which are working for various type of environmental issues, global environmental issues are Confederation of European Environmental Engineering Society, Natural Resource Defense Council, Earthwatch, Environmental Defense Fund, Friends of Earth, WRI, WWF, World Watch Institute Syria, Greenpeace, etc. If we wanted to, the main thing is that if we wanted to control the various type of environmental issues, the most important thing we need to have is decoupling of environment with the economic development. For that, we need certain green growth strategies. There are a number of policies which are governments, they are existing at local level, national level, and global level. But still, we need certain more concentrated efforts for green growth so that the effect of various type of human activity can be controlled along with economic development. So according to OECD, the organization OECD has given certain green growth strategies for controlling the environmental issues, that these are enlisted over here. First one is make pollution more costly than greener alternatives. We know in India also we are having polluters pay principle, but it needs to be enforced with various type of environmental taxes, emission trading scheme to put a price on pollution. Then better price the true value of natural assets and ecosystem services. There are different type of ecosystem services. We need to evaluate it for better pricing. We need to have water prices. We need to have the payment for ecosystem services, which is still not fully developed. Then we need to have proactive and effective regulation, different type of regulation for emissions, for energy efficiency, for water use efficiency, for safeguarding human health, environmental integrity, and so on and so forth. Then we need to remove environmentally harmful subsidies. There are different type of fossil fuels where there is subsidies are there. We need to remove that. We need to go for more greener alternative. We need to go for the alternative which will not affect our environment. And then encouraging green innovation, various type of sustainable technologies, green technologies, various type of innovation is required, which will lead to the irreversible change into our environmental conditions to the where we are reached in a condition of very bad health to good health. And beside that, we need to ensure that policy framework, there should be incentive in the green investment. So there are different type of, beside that there are different type of policies. We know that there are different institutions have different type of governmental policies, planning, etc. We need to implement all those things, or government need to implement all these things in a very proper manner. So if I wanted to conclude this session, the major environmental issues, I will say that we need to require urgent action at an unprecedented scale if we wanted to arrest and reverse this situation. Then only the unprecedented or urgent action, then only we can protect our human health, environmental health, and we can maintain the current and future integrity of the global system. If we talk about the key action, they may be reducing land degradation, biodiversity loss, air, land and water pollution, improving water management and resource management, climate change mitigation and adaptation, resource efficiency, then addressing decarbonization, then decoupling, detoxification, prevention, management of different type of risk or disaster. So for control of waste management, sustainable land practices, sustainable forestry, then sustainable food management system, and so on and so forth. So for these, we require more ambitious and effective policies. We require more sustainable consumption and production. We require greater resource efficiency, improved resource management, integrated ecosystem management, whether we talk about integrated waste management, prevention. So all these issues or all these activities we require at a level, decision at a level, it is very important. We need to mainstream environmental consideration into what we say, into social issues, into economic issue, and we need to have a synergies between different type of goals, different type of target. There are different type of cross-cutting issues. When we talk about the cross-cutting issues, there are gender issues, there are equity issues. So when we talk about all these issues, we need to have a improved governance. The improved governance can be at the national level, that can be a local level, global level. We need to have a more coordination between the policy areas. There is no dearth of schemes. There are many type of funding is available, many type of institutional support is available, but we need to have a effective implementation of various type of environmental policies. We need that sustainable financing also. Finance is there, but it needs to be equally distributed with the target. We need sustainable source of financing. We need to prioritize our environmental policies. We need to strengthen our capacities. We need to have a more scientific or information, more innovation when we talk about the environmental management. For this, we need a very strong commitment from all the stakeholders, whether stakeholder as a human being, normal people, whether they are working in any government organization, private organization, international organization. The cooperation between all these level, all the stakeholder is very, very essential. Then only we will be able to control the pollution. Then only we will be able to have a more achievement of targets of sustainable development goals which are related to our environment. Thank you for patience and time.